A couple of us were lucky because we had very progressive parents at the time, but some of us had to learn in school or from friends, and sometimes those conversations were not clear. And that's why I'm starting this conversation by asking why.
So first and foremost, it's good for us to also look back at what our childhood was and some of the crazy mistakes that we made. When your parents didn't tell you, what did you hear? Now looking back, you think about some of the things we did as young people and you literally cringe. And you know that if you knew better, you would do better. So two things stand out. Number one is sexual abuse. Children need to be taught so that they can be equipped to prevent or manage sexual abuse incidents. It's heartbreaking when someone says I was abused for 4 or 5 years and my parents didn't know. That's mind numbing. These are your primary caregivers. So what was missing? Didn't the child know that was abuse? Didn't the child know what to do when it started so that it could be stopped early on? So the first part is preventing sexual abuse. But the second part is exploration. Humans will explore. So that means that a child will touch another child in their private part in school.
Yes.
When they don't know to do better. And so there's layers of exploration from when they're young, and then there's layers when puberty kicks in. The kind of decisions they would make it based on what they know. So it was so beautiful just meeting when Mimi was saying she's a boy mom and she's passionate about this talk, because a bigger percentage of boys out there have no guide on these things. And so we're labeling them and judging them for their lack of regulating their emotions, when the real question is, who taught them to do otherwise? Do they have any other information to work with?
But first you have to build that relationship with your children to be open to you.
Yes.
The reason why I'm saying this is because a couple of people I rolled with when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, didn't have that open channel to have this conversation with their parents. So even when they were being abused by a family member, they couldn't open up to their parents.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So that's one of the things I tell parents is that before you start having the talk, build the relationship. The relationship is the fuel. The relationship is actually the fuel for it. So when I have this primary school classmate whose dad used to make her hair in school.
Oh,
Yeah,
so cute.
she actually lives in Lagos now, and I see her on Instagram. But that's the memory I have of her from primary school. I don't know if he was a single dad, but I remember him coming to school and he'll sit her down and he'll weave her hair back, pick her stuff, put her in the car. So with that kind of bonding, they can talk about anything. And so let's say there's a single father listening to us. He doesn't quite know whether he's bonding right. He wants to talk. I think it's just establishing that I'm one person in the world that really looks out for you. And I kind of want the best for you. I may not have gotten other things right, but you're at this point in your life where you need some information from me. Even with couples, I tell them that fathers' roles in the lives of girls, for instance, is significant.
Very, very.
As we're growing up, there's a tendency for us to think that mothers overreact. So if sex education is had by mothers alone, children underestimate the importance. Until a father kind of wills in. So if a father creates a vision for it, let's say they have a family hangout where the dad says, so I look at my child, the father looks at the child who is 10, 11 and says, sweetheart, your body's changing. There are many things beginning to happen. Hygiene is critical for you. Like he picks the bullet points, then allows mommy to fill in the gap. The child listens to both of them as a combo. Do you get the idea? So it makes it solid. So when fathers are not talking, children think it's one of those dramatic things that mothers
do. Like, oh, mommy, you're here again to exaggerate things.
Yes. So for single fathers, build that relationship, but also look for your sister. They would eventually still need a female to build in those micro details, but they need to have such a relationship that the kids can come back. So my mom was a single mom, so I grew up with her siblings. So it's her older brother that bought my first part for me. So he's the one that talked to me, said, are you on? Do you want to come back? Do you get? He didn't tell me the micro details. He didn't give me the micro details, but he was was there for me in that way. So even if you're a single dad, start the conversation, build the structure, and then look for maybe your younger sister or someone at church you trust, whoever, a female around you who you can trust, has the same values as you, because a big part of sex education is values as well. And so it's not just what is happening in your body, but how to make decisions, what to drive a decision. So I think that could work.